Hey guys, my name is Christian Batuli. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time coming across this channel, welcome to the family. Glad to have you here. On this platform, we talk about anything and everything relating to football or soccer, depending on where you live or depending on what you call it. But to be honest, it really doesn't matter what you call it or where you live because the beautiful game connects us all. Now, if you're a fan of this kind of content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button to stay alert on the next time we drop new content. It helps with the channel. If you can support, I'll certainly appreciate it. With that being said, let's jump into it. So today I wanted to talk about an amazing player. He's been one of my favorite players to watch. He's unbelievably talented. Um, this kid, I just think is very clinical when he's on it. He has a very good instinct to score a goal. He knows how to play the game. He, um, he, he grew up the Barcelona way, so he has that La Masia DNA, that Barcelona DNA. But I also have to be honest, the last few years has not been um, too kind to this player. Right now, he's still trying to find find his place as far as club, where he feels values, where he can have a platform to perform at his best. He's still trying to just pretty much find himself in the football world. And the player that I'm talking about is Ansu Fati. Now, the reason why I decided to talk about Ansu Fati is because, according to Barca Universal and Sport, I'm just paraphrasing here. Pretty much, Barcelona have decided to sell Ansu Fati if a suitable offer comes in, right? And in my opinion, I think this is a mistake that Barcelona can potentially make because Ansu Fati at some point is going to explode, and it's a lot closer than we think. I'm talking about a year or two. It's going to explode. If Barcelona sell Ansu Fati, we're gonna have one of the biggest regrets, more than what we sold Thiago to Bayern Munich. We cannot let go of this player because when he first broke to the scene, when he first broke in the first team, he broke all kind of records, right? Youngest scorer in Champions League history, youngest scorer in Spain national team, youngest player to score a brace in La Liga match, youngest player to score an assist in the same La Liga match, right? Like, if you're not talented, you cannot be broken up those records when Ansu Fati's age. I think it was 17 when he first broke in. So we all know how talented Ansu Fati is. And he was scoring goals left and right. He was a starter when he first came in, right? Pretty much what Lamine Yamal is doing right now, Ansu Fati was doing it until he teared and until he damaged and tore his left meniscus. That's when all of his problems started, right? And we all know, if you're a Barcelona fan and you know the history about Ansu Fati, we all know how horrible and how much pain he had to go through dealing with this injury. This injury kept him out of the game for 308 days, even more, right? He had to get two surgeries on the same injury. And there was a possible talk about a potential third injury just to fix that left meniscus injury that he had. But he decided not to go with the third injury, but he decided not to go with the third surgery because, he wanted to try a different route. But while Ansu Fati was going through all this, the club was not stable. We had a bunch of coaches come in and went out the door, right? The club was not stable. We're broke. Everything was just a chaos, right? Ronald Koeman came in, went. Kike Setien came in, went, right? So all this was happening when Ansu Fati was still trying to like recover until Xavi came in. That's when Ansu Fati was ready to play football again. But let's be honest, like from the get, Xavi never was a big fan of Ansu Fati. Let's just be honest. He didn't have enough patience with. He didn't have enough patience with. He didn't have enough patience with Ansu Fati, right? He didn't give Ansu Fati a fair chance. He didn't give Ansu Fati a fair chance, right? And Ansu Fati was pretty much doomed when Xavi came in, right? He didn't get the opportunity to start in the preseason, the first preseason when Xavi came in because he was still on his way back, right? So I think, in my opinion, once again, before you guys start to troll and do whatever, I don't care. In my opinion, I think Xavi mistreated Ansu Fati because when he was able to play, when he was physically fit, Xavi did not give him a shot, right? There were so many games where Ansu Fati came in as a sub and single-handedly won us the game, either by scoring and assisting, and then the next game he found himself in the bench, right? No matter what Ansu Fati did, Xavi was not a big fan. Let's just call a spade, right? There were so many times where Ansu Fati just came in and changed the game, the dynamic of the game, and then the next game he's back on the bench. Now, as a player, some of us we played soccer back in the days. Like as a player, do you know what psychological damage those kind of stuff will do to you? Because no matter how hard you do, because no matter how hard you play, no matter how well you play, the coach does not value you. And I think there were so many times where Xavi was being a hypocrite because it will appear in front of journalists, right? Having a press conference or talk to the media. Well, when we start the season, everybody starts from scratch. It's based on merit. BS. BS. Because we all know who Xavi's favorites were. Gavi's one of them, Ferran Torres, right? And it's crazy because I think on Ansu Fati last season, even when he was not playing as much as Ferran Torres or Rafinha, he ended up scoring more goals than those guys. He ended up outperforming those guys in terms of goals, even though he did not even get as much playing times as those guys, right? And then there was at one point where Ferran Torres was struggling, you know, to to play well, right? And they even hired a psychologist. He came back. He ended up discovering a little bit of form, and everybody was just talking about, oh man, we appreciate Ferran Torres' his mentality. It's easy to have a strong mentality when you know the coach is going to give you opportunities. It's easy to have that, right? Xavi did the same thing with Frank Kessié. Let's just be honest. Gavi's a great player, but I'm not starting Gavi over Frank Kessié. I don't care what anybody says. Frank Kessié was an amazing player that just never got the chance from Xavi. That's a video for a different story. But just to stay on topic here about Ansu Fati did not have any hope as long as Xavi was going to be the coach, right? A player who is not getting as much time as other players, but he still ended up outscoring those players. That says something, right? And you can just tell every time I was watching Ansu Fati, I felt sad for the dude, man. Because you can just tell no matter how hard he tried, no matter how well he played, Xavi was not having it. And there was a particular game, I just can't remember the game, but there was a particular game where Ansu Fati was playing and Lewandowski was playing as well. And Ansu Fati was in a great position, right? It was a counterattack, and Lewandowski was in a better position, right? And it would have been an easy goal had Ansu Fati just simply passed the ball to Lewandowski. But he decided to be selfish. I'm not gonna lie, decided to be selfish and take the goal upon himself. But he decided to be a little selfish. I'll be honest, and trying to score the goal by himself. But he decided to be a little selfish. I admit that. by trying to score a goal himself, but he ended up missing, right? And I felt bad for him because, like, I know the old Ansu Fati, when he has the confidence of a manager, when he has the support of a club, when he's feeling like when he doesn't have to feel like he has to do extra for him to get on the field, would have passed the ball to Lewandowski. At that moment, I knew Ansu Fati was not playing his game because at that point he was just trying to impress Xavi. Because we all know when it comes to decision making, Ansu Fati makes great decisions, right? And once in a while, he's a little selfish. I'm not gonna lie, because that's what comes with being a forward. When that's what comes with being a player that has to shoulder the responsibility of scoring goals, right? And then the funny thing is, the same situation happened with Lewandowski, right? But Ansu Fati was in a better position. Lewandowski could have passed it to Ansu Fati, and Ansu Fati could have scored. But Lewandowski decided to try to score himself, and he missed. Right? That's when I knew, I was like, the team is not connected, because Ansu Fati is trying whatever he can to try to prove a point to Xavi why I need to be getting a lot more playing time. And Lewandowski was simply doing it because Ansu Fati did not pass him the ball. And I think that was a bad move from Lewandowski, because Lewandowski is a vet, right? And no matter what, Xavi is not going to bench him. So it should have, in that moment, it should have tried to help Ansu Fati and talk to him. That's when I knew, I was like, dude, if you can get out of this club or go on loan or something, please do that, because Xavi is not your coach. I felt bad for Ansu Fati because he was trying so hard to like win Xavi's approval, to prove a point, right? But the coach was not interested at all. But instead, he rather play Ferran Torres, where Ferran Torres, let's be honest, man, 16 million for Ferran Torres, that's a waste of money. Let's be honest, man. 16 million for Ferran Torres, right? But Ansu Fati did not get the same opportunity, right? And it just sad because, like, we have to be honest. Just because the coach does not see you as a great player does not mean you're not a great player. A lot of great coaches have made bad mistakes in the past, playing favoritism. Can we talk about Jose Mourinho, what he did with Kevin De Bruyne? Can we talk about Jose Mourinho? Jose Mourinho. Can we talk about Jose Mourinho, what he did with Kevin De Bruyne? Can we talk about Jose Mourinho? Can we talk about Jose Mourinho, what he did with Kevin De Bruyne or Mohamed Salah? So just because the coach does not value you does not mean you're a bad player. So I'm glad Ansu Fati went to Brighton to get more playing time, because De Zerbi is the type of coach that Ansu Fati needs. It truly is invested. Is truly invested into Ansu Fati's development. It gives Ansu Fati confidence. Is truly invested into Ansu Fati's development. It gives Ansu Fati confidence, and he believes in Ansu Fati. And Ansu Fati was starting to find the form a little bit until he got injured in November playing versus Nottingham Forest, when he damaged his hamstring. But we also the goal he scored against Ajax in Europa League. Like, this guy is very, very clinical, and he has that instinct. You can't teach that. You can't buy that. I don't think he should be playing wing. I think as a false nine or even as a 10, and Sufachi should be playing like that, because I kind of see him more of a Harry Kane type player, a player that can drop a little bit deeper to make plays, play with the team a little bit, and it can also score goals. I see him kind of like Benzema type player, right? Like a false nine where he can drop in, build up, involve in the build up, and move forward. And what I'm going to say right now for Ansu Fati is that Ansu Fati has a contract with Barcelona until 2027, if I'm not mistaken. Right? He's getting paid 160,000 euro per week. Great money. And it doesn't matter what Barcelona decide to do. If Ansu Fati does not want to leave, they can't force him. And I think the best thing for Ansu Fati right now is for him to go on loans. Go on loans and do not return to the club. Do not go back to Barcelona if Xavi is still there, like Sergio Des said, because he has his favorite. The Catalan bias is a real thing, right? And this blueprint from other players that Ansu Fati can copy. Look at Martin Odegaard. Couldn't get playing time for Real Madrid first team. Guess what? He went to a European tour, right? Played in the Dutch league for a little bit. Played for two teams in the Dutch league, Vitesse and another club. I don't even know if I can say their name, but Herenveen, I think that's how you say it. And then came back to Spain, played for Real Sociedad, and then he went on a small, temporary, short-term move in Arsenal, and and then he went on this and then he went on a small loan or a temporary move to Arsenal, and then that's where he was able to find his feet. Now he's a captain and he's been playing his football, right? Ansu Fati, go on tour. At least that way you getting paid and also you getting play time because at this point you need playing time. Another player that I can think of is Ibrahim Diaz, right? Wasn't ready for Real Madrid first team. Guess what? He went to AC Milan for 3 years where he really honed in his craft. He worked on his game a little bit, his polish. Now, when he came back to Real Madrid, he's ready to compete right away. And Carlo Ancelotti has been giving him plenty of playing time. So Ansu Fati, do what's best for you. So Ansu Fati, do what's best for you because Barcelona is going to do what's best for them. You don't have to leave if you don't want to, but go to clubs where you're going to get playing time and you're going to find your feet. All right. I think Xavi's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. He's not an elite coach, but I also think that he has his favorites, right? He's still a young coach. There's certain players that Xavi does not have the sack to bench. Lewandowski is one of them, right? And the one thing that makes me sad is that we all saw how like Balde and Ensu Fati was starting to develop that connection on the left side, where Balde will overlap him and Ensu Fati will come in and benders, right? Like we all saw that, but Xavi just totally just pushed down the side. We're like, dude, this is two La Masia players, and they're already forming that chemistry. Like, what is wrong with you, man? What is wrong with you? And then you go in front of the press, it's based on merit. BS, bro. When it's time to, walk to walk, you don't do it. You don't do it. It's all talk to talk. And the only thing that's saving you is because you are a legend. I'm not gonna ever take that away from you. You're probably one of the most brilliant mind to ever play this game. An amazing, one of the greatest midfielders of all time, hands down. Right? But when it comes to coaching, man, you've made plenty of mistakes. Plenty. So that's what I would just say about Ansu Fati's situation. So that's what I would say about Ansu Fati's situation. So that's what I would say about Ansu Fati's situation. Don't go to any team you don't want to. You have a contract till 2027. You're getting paid handsomely. Go on European tour like Martin Odegaard, or do Ibrahim do what Ibrahim or do what Ibrahim or do what Ibrahim Diaz did. Find a team that you're gonna get plenty of game time for 3 years, and then go back to Barcelona when you're ready. Because I guarantee you, when you start to perform, they're gonna want to have you back. That's how this club works. But we gave all the time to Usman Dembele, right? All the time. But Ansu Fati, we quick to trying to get rid of him. So that's it for me today, guys. It's not a vent session. I just had to get it out of my chest. But you guys let me know what you think. With that being said, thank you very much. Bye.